Okay, so you just tried to put up some nice new wallpaper and it came out looking like this. No need to panic. Let's undo it.
How to undo with Mike Montgomery. That's me.
Sometimes wallpaper can really get stuck on there, and there's a few different ways you can unstick it. But today, we're gonna be using a steamer, a scraper, a scorer, and of course, gloves, so you can handle the heat safely. First things first, we're gonna need to remove all of these outlet and light switch covers. Then, we'll use our scorer to perforate our wallpaper, that way the steam can really get in there. High score! Once your steamer is all revved up, take your plate and hold it against the wall. Make sure and keep it there until your paper and glue are hot, and then you can peel everything away. This is easiest if you work in sections. Otherwise, your wallpaper and glue will cool if you're moving too fast or too far. And when your paper tears, don't worry, you can use a scraper to get behind it and remove any paper or glue that's left over. And pro tip, if you've got any stubborn spots that just don't want to come off with the steamer alone, you can use what's called wallpaper stripper spray. Just spray some on, let it sit for a few minutes, and then scrape that paper away. Steamy. Nice. Ta-da! I made sure to remove all the remaining adhesive, and now it's time to install new wallpaper. Now that old wallpaper is out, you've got two options when it comes to installing new stuff. While it's more expensive per square foot, peel and stick wallpaper is easy to install and just as easy to swap out. Check it out. I'm starting by removing the backing off of the top 6 inches or so of the wallpaper. You don't want to remove the whole thing, otherwise it could wrinkle or fold in on itself. Then you can use a squeegee like this, working from the center out to remove any air bubbles. And if you thought that was easy to install, check out how easy it is to remove. Came off in one piece. For a more cost-effective way of covering a lot of square footage, standard wallpaper is the way to go. It may be a little messier, but believe me, it's worth it. To complete this task, you'll need a few things. You'll need paste for your wallpaper, a roller for your paste, a tape measure, a level, a pencil, a squeegee, a craft knife, and gloves. Let's keep it clean. And if you think you might make a mess, you're right. Make sure and use a tarp or drop cloth to protect your floors and furniture. And always be sure to open your windows when working with wallpaper paste. Where you put your first piece of wallpaper can make or break your job, so you're gonna wanna make sure it's perfect. First, you'll find the center of your wall.
Ahoy!
Then you'll mark a vertical plumb line all the way down it. This is gonna be our reference for our first piece. And you can double check for square by measuring from the top and the bottom of your corners. Or you can use this doohickey called a plumb bob, which uses a line, a brass weight, and gravity to do the work for you. I'm gonna be applying my paste directly onto my wall, but be sure to double check your manufacturer's instructions because it may be required for you to apply the paste onto the back of your paper. And next, you'll wanna cut in close with a brush to any trim, molding, ceilings, or walls. I'm gonna start by aligning the top of our wallpaper to the top of the wall. When cutting your wallpaper, make sure it's the height of your wall plus 4 inches because you're gonna want a little bit of wiggle room when you're aligning your patterns. I'm gonna start very gently with the top half of my sheet and align it with the plumb line I've drawn on the wall. It's important that I get this sheet on right because I'll be using it as a guide when I put up the next sheet. Now that I've got this put up, I can use my trusty squeegee here to smooth out any air bubbles. I'm starting towards the center, then working my way out towards the edges. Now it's time for the second strip. This one's a little trickier because you're going to have to align it with your first strip. I got really fortunate that my outlet is located right where 2 pieces of wallpaper meet. So that means it's gonna be really easy for me to use my utility knife to cut an X in my wallpaper towards the corner of that electrical box. Then I can square up the perimeter of my cut and reinstall my outlet cover. Now that looks clean. Now, I'm trimming the edges of my wallpaper. And pro tip, you can use your squeegee as a guide for straight cuts. If you encounter an inside corner like this, your first instinct may be just to wrap your wallpaper around it. But that is a bad idea because it'll peel away as your house settles or as moisture and humidity changes. So instead, we're gonna use our craft knife to score down the wall and separate the two pieces. And here's what you'll do if you've got a window in the way. Your steps will be a little different depending on whether your window is framed or recessed. Ours is framed, and we're keeping that trim on there. So we're gonna hang this strip normally, but then use our finger to find the top, side, and bottom edges of the window through the wallpaper. I'm just gonna poke around until I find the corner. Then I'll use my craft knife to score a diagonal line towards the center of the window. This is gonna allow me to fold and wrap my wallpaper around the trim like a present. Now, all we have to do once everything else is smoothed out is use our trusty craft knife to trim away the excess. And that's it. Our new wallpaper is set and dried. Now, am I gonna regret this? Nah, but if I do, I know how to undo it. Anyways, thanks a ton for watching. Be sure to click here or here for more episodes of How to Undo. To shop this full project, click the link to the guide in the description below. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you next time on How to Undo.